it's like, just calm down, folks. Just calm down. Welcome to the Best Boys Center Ice podcast. It's the week before Christmas. Christmas is a week from yesterday, and Carson and I are on here. We're going to probably not do a show next week because it's Christmas, and usually the NHL takes off that time anyway.
Couple days, yeah.
We'll be doing this one, and then we'll do one probably just before New Year's. Maybe on New Year's, somewhere around there. So the next couple of weeks are kind of hit and miss with the holidays and everything, but we should be good to go. But if you don't know, Carson and I are father and son, and we love the game of hockey. And we've been talking about podcasting for a long time. We've done 2 years now. We've been steady 2 years on the podcast. We follow our favorite teams, the Edmonton Oilers for me and the Pittsburgh Penguins for Carson. So those two teams, we have a lot to talk about with those two teams. Just with everything that happened last week with the trade and the team's play so far. We got some NHL news that we go over. The Olympics are coming up.
Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes. And then the Olympics coming up, and is the arena going to be even finished?
I know. The farther it goes along, I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be
because there's like if the NHL says if the ice isn't ready to go, their players are going, which means, well, what do you do?
Well, what are you going to do? That's a good question.
You go to the junior ranks, you go to the colleges.
That's going to be difficult though, because those guys even are playing for their teams, and they don't expect to have to play.
All I gotta say is they better get things together in the next 2 or 3 weeks, or else it's going to be interesting.
Yep.
But we're here on Facebook Live, as we always are. We're also on YouTube Live right now. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which would be great if you could. And to subscribe to our YouTube channel, it's the Best Boys Center Ice podcast on YouTube. You can hear us here on Facebook. Carson's got his own personal Facebook page, so do I. We both do our TikTok pages. That we do post-game stuff for both of our teams. But today it's about just an overall look. And if you feel free to join us live on Facebook right now, or live on YouTube. And Carson, I think you've got it's so funny because all season long your team has been just riding a big high, and my team has been struggling, and now it's kind of the other way around. So it's time for maybe a Carson rant to start off our podcast, instead of me ranting about, a player that's no longer with the Edmonton Oilers. Carson?
Yeah, and who's he with now?
He's with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really as upset about what's going on with the Penguins, because, they had no expectations behind them, right? I'll get more into detail about it, but it's the way the Penguins have been losing the last week, to be honest with you. But before that, the big thing that happened the day after our last recording, the goalie trade, which didn't. I jinxed it because I said it wasn't going to really happen because the Penguins didn't want to retain, and they didn't retain, but the Oilers went for it, and there was a trade. Jari and Samuel Pullen, who's just an AHL guy. He's not going to play in the NHL probably with the Oilers, but they go to Edmonton and return Kulak, Skinner, come back to Pittsburgh, and a draft pick. So, looking at it, on my point of view, you can give your point of view, obviously, whenever you talk about the Oilers. I'm happy with it because I think I've been thinking about this. I think even though Stu Skinner was in the finals twice in a row, Stu Skinner was never destined to win as an Oiler, and Jari was never destined to win as a Penguin. It just wasn't going to happen. I don't have anything against Jari. He's made me frustrated over the years many a times, but I hope he has his resurgence in Edmonton because I've seen what he can do. And I've also seen what Stu can do, and you have too. And, I hope the best for both players, that it's a good situation regardless. If Stu stays after this, because this is his last season, him and Kulak's deals are both done. So there's the option for them to leave if they want to go elsewhere. And the Penguins shed the cap of Jari. I mean, you know what? I'm not disappointed in it. I mean, they get a second round draft pick. Uh, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's going to take a little bit to get used to that, and for those guys to get acclimated. But at least you've got two guys on the team now who have played in those high pressure situations that know what it takes to at least get there, and how that can go. But that happened. It took forever for them to get through the border customs and immigration stuff with visas. Them being Canadians, never playing in an American city, that takes a long time, and they missed two games because of that, which were last weekend's games. So since we've been on, the Penguins were playing a game against the Canadiens on Thursday. They unfortunately lost that 4-2. Jacob Fowler's first NHL game wins his first start and joins an elite list of Montreal Canadiens goalies who, for some reason, win their first games, and that happened to be against Pittsburgh. It's just weird how it works like that. But okay, they lose to Montreal. Well, in the matter of 5 days, the Penguins, to this point, this Penguin season has been flipped upside down with the way they've lost three games out of those four. Anaheim, then they lost Montreal. I talked about the Anaheim game. They lost point 0.1 seconds left. They let up the tying goal, and then the Ducks win in the shootout. Okay. You don't think it can get worse than that? Well, it did. On Saturday, they played against San Jose. Um, in a game where they dominated the Sharks. They outshot them like crazy. They had possession of the puck the entire time. They had the game 5-1 lead in the third period, and bit by bit, the Sharks clawed back and somehow tied the game at 5 to send it to overtime. And then, sure enough, they win in overtime. Probably one of the greatest comebacks you'll see ever in a hockey game. They in a regular season game for sure. I mean, the closest memory to me of even this kind of happening is when the Sharks coincidentally in the playoffs against Vegas a couple years ago. You remember that they were down 3-0 in the third and get a 5-minute power play and score 4 goals to take the lead, and they end up winning in overtime. This reminded me of that so much, but it was so frustrating to watch that how much the Penguins controlled that game. And for about 50 plus minutes of it, really controlled it, and they just let it go. And the Sharks won. I mean, they were the hungrier team at the end, and that's all that matters. And it sucks. I feel like the Penguins lose a lot of games where they're the better team for a majority of the game, but they just let it slip for a few minutes, and that's all it takes for them to lose. Okay, they lose that game, but they get the point. You don't want to. I mean, it's unacceptable that it even came to that point, but they got the point, regardless of if they won or lost. Well, then they go to Utah against the Mammoth on Sunday, and again, you don't think can it get worse? And it did. I mean, they had a 3-0 lead in the third period, and before the first commercial break, Utah had the lead at 4-3. Then luckily the Penguins tie the game in the last 5 minutes, send it to overtime, and then Utah wins it in overtime. So they lose 3 games and 3 points in games where they should have had all two in all 3 games. That's unexcusable the way that they lost. And it showed with how they played the next couple games because they came out flat. They played the Oilers on Tuesday, scored the first goal of the game, but it got called back. Then Edmonton scores an avalanche pretty much on them. Like they just were all over them. Draisaitl got his 1,000th point, of course, in that game. Um, Ironically, on his old teammate Stu Skinner. Kind of sad to watch that, honestly, when they're all celebrating like that, and he's right there behind him, like 5 feet away. But they didn't play that bad of a game, but they just they don't match up very well against Oilers. Oilers are just too fast for them, and that deflated them a little bit. With the first goal getting waved off, but then last night's game against Ottawa was just brutal. I mean, 4-0 shutout. Not much to be said. They played horrible the entire time. The Penguins right now just are floundering. I think they don't have any confidence now because of these losses, and they have no explanation for why they're losing like that. They have all these leads and they just can't protect them. And the fans are booing them now because they can't hold the lead anymore. And you're just watching the game, and as a fan, you can't enjoy the game because they're not going to be able to hold it down. The San Jose game should have been a fun game. They were up 5-1 in the third. That should have been a fun game, and it turned out to be horrible because they couldn't just hold the lead. They stopped playing. As soon as the Sharks scored that second goal, they stopped playing and just let them do whatever they wanted instead of pressing and attacking. We've talked about this before. I don't know why teams, when they're up, they just decide to kind of settle back and just lay off the gas when you've got to play the whole 60 to win the game, and it shows every time you don't. That like majority of the time you lose because of that, and that's what happened on Sunday and on Saturday. And so now the Penguins are out of a playoff spot, which I'd rather this happen right now at this point of the season, but it's very frustrating to lose that way. And how are they going to get their confidence back? They've been without Gino for 7 games, and they've lost all 7 of them. They need him back as soon as
Well,
they can get him.
it just proves that he's still a
Yeah.
huge part of
Well,
this team.
and it's been a concern for the team, regardless of if he's putting up points. Sid's not looking very good. Honestly, the last few games, just very lazy on defensive efforts. He's kind of just skating around. It's like he doesn't look interested. It's difficult to watch that, and you hope they can bring it back because this team for the first 6+ weeks was one of the more fun teams in the NHL to watch, and they were beating a lot of good teams, and now they're getting dominated, and losing the games the way they did last week makes an impact on that. That's why that's happening. If they win those games, I think these other games that they've lost, like the Oiler game, the Senators game, those could have worked out the same result, but the games could have been a lot better.
Mhm.
Uh, now they have to come out and prove it. I mean, they got to go out there and win these next 2 games, which are home and home against Montreal. They got to win both of them because you're on a 7-game skid. This is your time to get back in it. Period. You got to win these games. You're above 500. You get 4 points this weekend. You're back in the race. Again last time jinxed it, saying they hadn't really been on a big losing streak, and now here they are.
Mhm.
But if they win these next couple of games, they're back on the track. You got to get Sid engaged. You got to get a little bit of better goaltending, a little bit just keeping the puck out of the net, giving them some help at the same time to make it easier for them to make saves and getting healthy as soon as possible because the Penguins literally have not been healthy the entire season.
Mhm.
And that's going to hurt at some point. It is right now. Again, I'd rather them be doing this at this point versus, February or March, but you can't let this go too far. They're only a couple points out of the spot. And winning these next couple of games this weekend are very, very, very important. Uh, so we'll see. I mean, just deflating to lose the way they did, and just to see like there's just less confidence as time has gone on and on since those losses, and you know, I don't know what you really can do about it because if coaching changes haven't fixed that part of the game, the Penguins still blow leads like it's nothing. And it's a personnel thing. I think it's accountability. Those guys need to take accountability and be like, we're the ones playing. We got to be out there defending this lead. We got to be out there helping our goalie. We got to be out there for the fans and for ourselves. And I think they go out there and they're just kind of like they know it's bound to happen, so they just kind of stay skittish and just kind of stay
Mhm.
there and see and go with emotions. And you can't do that in this league. There's too many good hockey teams that are going to beat you because of that, and it's proven. So, this is a learning lesson for honestly the entire league because they've been seeing what's happened to the Penguins now. You have to play the entire 60, not
Mhm.
59, not 58, 60. The entire 60, because if you even let off the gas for 1 minute, you've completely changed the game. So that's my opinion. I mean, I'm not mad because they had no expectations. I'm just disappointed more or less because they're just losing these games in unfathomable ways. Really, they shouldn't be losing games like that.
Yeah. So, and like you're right, I don't know what to do besides, the players getting together, having a meeting and saying, look, we're on a 7 game slide. We got to get out of it because it's not wait. Let's do it
Mhm.
now. Let's get the
Well,
next win. Let's
yeah,
win the next period. Let's win the next game. Let's win the
yeah.
next
I
3.
think they look too far ahead.
Yeah.
I think they get up and they're looking towards the end of the game already for it to be over with. You've
Yeah.
got 10 minutes left. Play these next 10 minutes. Then the game's over. The good thing for them is right now they're on their, if you want to call it the dad strip, where all the dads join the team. I hope that that's can be a bit of a confidence booster. Maybe they can give them a little bit of a message or a speech because right now they're just floundering. I mean, I don't really care what the opinion was at the beginning of the season. They looked like a legit team the way
Hmm.
they played. They were scoring like crazy. They were beating teams that they really shouldn't have been beating, and now they're losing like nothing. So I hope they can turn it around here shortly before Christmas.
Yeah. Well, like the game of hockey, it's got its ups and
Yeah.
downs, and you
It
just
happens
hope.
to every team too.
Yeah.
Every season, every team struggles at some point,
Yeah.
and you just can't. It's just a matter of how long you let it go before it just turns around again.
And doing it now is better than doing it two
And
months
it
from
comes from the leaders, Sid, Letang, Carlson, and even Gino. Well, even though he's still out, have got to step in and be like, "Look, we're going to do what it takes to carry this team to
now. Yeah.
get us back and winning." Because right now, you know, you just look like they're just not as engaged. They just don't look as engaged right now, and they got to get that back. Uh, because there's a lot of fight in this team and a lot that they can get done if they just put their minds to it and work together.
Yeah. Well, they just got to work some stuff out, and I know they'll be back. They're not going to be one of those teams that just slides away. They got too much talent on that team to not,
Yeah.
pick
And
it up.
again, they've gotten points in a lot of these losses, which, I mean, 7-game losing streak, not good, not ideal.
Yeah,
But they've
you
gotten
don't
points in
want
the
to
majority.
lose the point, but if you get a point, you're still getting a point.
Yeah.
You're still moving.
Yeah, because
in the
in
right
the
direction.
7-game losing streak, they gotten points in 4 out of the 7 games. They got the point
So
against Dallas. So I mean, you're fine. I mean, you know what? If you're gonna pick it up now while
Yeah.
you're still pretty close and you've still got games in hand to make some ground up.
Yeah. So now we'll move on to what the Oilers have done in the last little while. They're right now 17, 12, and 6, which is third in the Pacific, and they're only really 2 points out of first. With Vegas and Anaheim have the same amount of points. They're only 2 points out, so
Yeah.
they clawed their way back in after a terrible start. But the Oilers,
They always do
notoriously,
that.
the last few years start terrible and just finish great. So it's just like Carson was saying, every team has that stuff. It's just a matter of what time of the year that you have it. Since the last podcast, the Oilers have gone 4-1-0. They beat Detroit last Thursday 4-1, which is really surprising because Detroit was on a bit of a heater.
They're the top team in the East.
Yeah,
They're the Atlantic.
They were at the time the number one team in the East, and then they fell off after the loss to the Oilers. And then the goalie trade happened between Skinner and Jari, the Pens and the Oilers. Now, Carson, you gave your opinion on the getting Stu and giving up Jari. Okay, I look at Jari as, I kind of agree. It was almost like an even, but I have to say that Jari's a little bit ahead because of his puck handling abilities.
The only difference between the two is that Stu has playoff success and Jari does not have any. So, he's never won a series.
It kind of could go like this: playoff experience goes to Stu, mobility a little bit more.
But Jari's a very good puck handler. He was very good.
He made some passes out to long passes out to guys, and it was just
all you need to say is that he scored a goal.
Yeah, he scored a goal
in the AHL and NHL, so he knows how to handle the puck.
And now that he's on the IR, I don't know for how long. It looks like a lower body injury.
Probably a couple weeks. Maybe it's a groin thing. The way he just stretched across. Do you agree with the fact that it was just never destined for Stu to win in Edmonton and Jari to win in Pitt? It was just never going to happen.
It was just never going to happen. Sometimes you think, well, what's going to be the difference? Change of atmosphere, change of teammates, and maybe like Pittsburgh is going to be the right fit for Stu, and Edmonton's going to be the right.
Can I be honest with you? I don't think Stu's going to stay. I don't think he's going to stay.
Well, you never know. Like it
just doesn't look right. Him in that jersey just does not look right at all.
Yeah, it's different. But yeah, so Jari got thrown right in last Saturday in Toronto with a 6-3 win, and then they lost in Montreal Sunday 4-1. Then a 6-4 win in Pittsburgh, as Carson mentioned, on Tuesday. And then last night, a really impressive win in Boston, 3-1. That's where Jari got. He was in the second period. Looked like he went from one post to the other. I'm assuming groin area, but he skated off on his own. Cal Pickard came in and stopped 12 shots. The Oilers win 3-1. And we'll see. Like he's on the IR after the Boston game, and
probably like 10 plus days he'll be out.
Yeah, he'll be. Connor Ingram is being called up from Bakersfield. Connor Ingram they picked up from Utah in the offseason, so we'll see. I'm sure Pick will get most of the starts, but we'll see what Connor Ingram. He's played in the NHL before. Let's see what that can do while Jari rests up. Jack Roslovic has been placed on long-term IR, which is really sad because dude was just rolling. He was really flying for the Oilers since being picked up since he was picked up earlier in the year. So the Oilers are 6-2-1 in December, which is a lot better than they were in November and October. Back into third place in the Pacific, only 2 points back of both Anaheim and Vegas. McDavid is on a huge roll right now. He and McKinnon are tied right now for the scoring points with 58. Draisaitl's only 10 points behind. I think in the last 6 or 7 games, McDavid's got like 20 points and Draisaitl's got 16. Draisaitl hasn't been scoring, but he's been getting points. So I'm sure when you look at it, sure, winning the Rocket Richard was great last year, but their ultimate goal is to win the Stanley Cup. And if you can get points and help your team win, and they've been getting more scoring, so I'm sure Draisaitl will take that any day. He got his as you mentioned, his 1,000th point Tuesday in Pittsburgh, becoming the first German player to do so, and the 103rd player in the history of the NHL to hit 1,000 points. 1,000 points is a lot, and he's only been around 10, 11 years, 12 years. And he was one of those quiet, draft picks, German player.
Yeah, wasn't expected to be much.
Wasn't expected to be much, and then 1,000 points later, he's considered one of the best in the game. It looks like to me the Oilers are finally clicking as a unit and playing like the team that went to the Cup Finals the last couple of years. Defense is kind of starting to turn it around a little bit. The goaltending, of course, has changed, and we'll see what happens here over the next 10 days. Hopefully, the Pickard and Ingram can kind of hold things up a little bit. Even though the bottom 6 aren't scoring on the score sheet a lot, they are scoring. They're getting points when they need it, but the play is what is keeping it in the end, forechecking, doing what you got to do.
They're playing a good team game right now. Oilers are playing a good team game.
They're playing a good overall game as a team. Next up for the Oilers is tomorrow afternoon at 2, and a very hot Minnesota team, which you'll see Quinn Hughes for the first time.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
And then they'll be at home to Vegas on Sunday. So a weird back-to-back. They're in Minnesota Saturday, and then Vegas at home on Sunday. And then they're home to Calgary on Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and then in Calgary next Saturday night at 9 o'clock. Okay, so the NHL, Quinn Hughes in Minnesota.
Okay, what in the world was that? Because the rumor was if he was going to go anywhere, it was going to be to the Devils because his brothers play there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everybody got that alert from ESPN at like 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whatever it was. 8 o'clock, let's say on Friday. Quinn Hughes to the Minnesota Wild. What? Nobody ever heard about that. Nobody ever had any suspicion that's where he was going. And then all of a sudden, he's going there. I'll give the Vancouver Canucks credit. They got a good package back for that because they got Marco Rossi, Easy Buem, Liam Ogren, and then a draft pick, the first-round pick. I mean, he's worth. Quinn Hughes is probably the best, if not second to best. Him and McCarr are the best defensemen in the league. So he's worth a lot. And he wasn't going to sign back in Vancouver. He made that clear because they have no intentions right now of winning. They're not close to it. And it came way out of left field that he was going to the Wild. But I kind of like it there for him. I think that's a good fit. However, I still think that the Minnesota Wild do not have enough to make it all the way. However, this may get them further into the playoffs, and they may be able to make moves next season that can get them even closer to the Stanley Cup. But I mean, I give a lot of credit to them because that's a bold move to make, and they're taking the risk, and it's well worth it because he is a great player. He scored in his first game that he played with them already. He's looked good. He played 32 minutes the other night for him. In a 60-minute game, he played over half of it. I'm really excited to see how he does there. I think that him and Kaprizov could be a good power play connection. He just set Kaprizov up like crazy. But I'm excited for that. But good for them. Good for that fan base to get a marquee player like that. 2 of them now with Kaprizov and him there. Very exciting times for that fan base. And just I mean, to me, just came out of left field. I couldn't have guessed Minnesota was where he was going to be.
I was sure he was going to join his brothers in Jersey, but
I am happy though that didn't happen because not just for the divisional portion of it. I don't care for how the Devils play. I don't think that it would have fit his style as much. I think Minnesota is going to let him play his style where he can just run and gun, be an offensive ringer.
Yeah, so that's just made Minnesota kind of like everybody's eyebrows raised. It's like, okay, now this, but you're right. Can they get past the first round? that's their problem. They've not been able to get past the first round
I
before.
could see it though. What if they break through the first round? Then it could be an oh boy, like what? I
Yeah,
mean, they're
it's
going to
one
be
of
a
those
team to
teams
watch out for. They're a good
one of
team.
those
They're a
teams
very
you
good
don't
team.
want to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I give okay. Even though the Wild haven't made it far in the playoffs, I give them a lot of credit because in comparison to teams, I'm sorry, but like Buffalo and stuff who haven't made the playoffs, the Wild are consistently in the playoffs. They
Yeah.
just don't really make it far. But I mean, I remember the last time, you know, that the Wild we're growing up. Even the Wild were always in the playoffs, always. Maybe they had 1 or 2 years that they weren't, but for the most part, they were always in.
Mhm. It just they
So
can't get past that. It's like the old Winnipeg Jets in the
yeah,
80s. The Jets would always get into the playoffs, but they could never get past the
yeah.
first round.
But this is the biggest move that the Wild have made either. So this could be their. This could be. I mean, they're making the move to try, and we'll see what
Mhm.
happens. And I mean, lots of time for them to get acclimated. Obviously, you're in December. Playoffs will
Well,
start for four
and they've
months.
got probably one of the best goalies right now,
Yeah,
and like
Wallstead and
he's like,
Gustafson are slowing it down for them. They're doing well, and I mean the Wild are winning a lot of games, and they're going to continue to win a lot of games now
so,
because they've got Quinn Hughes.
so definitely interesting to see the Wild the rest of this season. So
I
injury
wanted
news.
our trade to be the biggest one of the week, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
It
it
only
wasn't. It
lasted
was
for
like
24,
they
not
outshined.
even a day, because
Yeah,
that trade happened Friday morning, and then the Quinn Hughes one was Friday
yeah,
night.
yeah. So
We got our 12 hours of fame.
yeah. Some injury news. Matthew Tkachuk is set to return to practice for the Panthers soon. They're not sure exactly where. Unclear when he'll be back in the lineup. He hasn't played this season due to off-season abductor surgery. So once he gets back, Florida's been playing really well as of late. But once he gets back into the lineup, I would say it's probably going to be after the Olympics by the
Mhm.
time he's really back and ready
But they're
to go.
playing good.
They're
They're
playing
going to be
good.
back
So
in it.
yeah. Tyler Sagan is out now for a while. He had surgery on his torn ACL in his right knee and will be evaluated after the Olympics for a return. He injured his leg in the game against the Rangers
I could
on
see that being it for
November
him.
2nd. So again, Dallas is still running. Dallas is still playing well. Colorado is just unbelievable. Like it's like I don't even know. Like,
How do you beat him?
I don't know who can beat. I don't know who can beat Colorado right now.
Nobody.
Nobody.
They're not afraid of anybody.
If they continue to play well, that's
one of the best teams in the last few years.
Yeah.
That's just such a good team, the way they play, and I mean, come on, you watch McKinnon go, and he's just got it. He's got it, and he's got it in the bag. I mean, it's unreal. We'll see. I mean, obviously, it's a long season to go, and they're not playing to do well in the regular season, but they're kicking butt. They're kicking everybody's butt right now.
Yeah. They're winning that team, and then I keep looking.
They'll be in the playoffs by game 55 by this pace.
I keep looking at other teams. Like I keep looking at Toronto games, and they just seem to be going down and down and down. They're not even. They used to be a good regular season team. I don't even think they're that anymore. They've just that.
Well,
Mitch,
did you see the
Marner,
comment last night after their loss to Washington? They got shut out 4-0, and Craig Berube was interviewed after the game, and they asked about like what's going on with them, and he said, "Go ask those guys."
Yeah, so there's
it's just a disaster, and nothing makes us happier than that because you know what? For all the gloating that those fans do about the Toronto Maple Leafs, the media does about the Leafs, they're not going to win the Stanley Cup anytime soon. It's not going to happen.
No, I keep seeing highlights, and it's like they're just down. They just look like they're just
they play good for a game or two, and then they play like crap for 4 or 5, and it's like okay, it's impossible.
Toronto is, if you're a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm sorry.
And in an Atlantic division that's rolling right now, I mean Detroit, even Boston, I mean they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, so I don't even think Toronto may not even make the playoffs. I'm going to say it right now. They may not even make the playoffs.
Maybe not.
There's just too many good teams out east that I just.
Yeah, it's going to be a fight.
If Toronto gets in somehow, wild card squeak.
They've got to go on a big winning streak. They've got to probably win 7 or 8 in a row now.
Yeah. So anyways, like Toronto's Toronto.
Nothing changes. The years change, but the team doesn't.
Yeah, and I think losing Mitch Marner to Vegas was
Yeah.
a lot bigger than what they thought in
No,
Toronto.
because they were all cocky that it was, oh, bye-bye, Mitchie. We don't need
Yeah, I
you.
could see it. Bye
And now
bye.
they need him
Now they need
because
him.
now Mitchie's on a good team, and that's playing really well, and the Leafs are not playing good.
No, not at all. So I don't have anything else to go. Just the Olympics again coming up.
That's going to be something to watch
deadline
out
for
for.
rosters is New Year's Eve.
Yeah, but I mean,
So
again, it's going to be seeing what happens with that because
yeah,
the league's not going to send their players out there if it's not safe for them to go.
yeah, and it's like I keep watching, and it's just like they got like 50 days, less than 50 days to get this together, and they're going to have to get everything together way before that.
Yeah, they have to have it probably ready a couple weeks before it's actually playing time
Yeah,
to make sure it's good to go.
we'll have to see what. I got a little tickle in my throat, so you may have to take it over here for a second, Carp.
Yep. Yeah, we're trying to figure out what's going on with that because as it is, the ice is going to be a shorter surface by like 3 feet. Yeah, the surface isn't even done. The arena's not even done being constructed. I don't know what happened. Will we ever know what happened? No idea, but it's very horrible. It's a bad look for the league. It's a bad look for the committee that sets all this up because probably one of the more marquee sports of the event may not happen with the best people in that sport playing it.
And I remember this happening. What was it in the past in the Olympics where the countries just weren't ready and they were scrambling at the very end to
But
get
it's
major
it's more
stadium.
like it's more like you have years to prepare for this thing.
Yeah,
You know years ahead of time that you're selected to host it. Have it ready like the year before.
yeah, and this arena should have been ready last year so that they can play some games on it. They can have some exhibition games on it. But we'll have to see. Like, yeah, it's going to be
And especially
interesting to
for the
see.
NHL that hasn't been in the Olympics in a long time.
Yeah,
And these guys are the best at their sport and it's going to be very entertaining to watch and we're about to get that ripped away from us.
yeah. So
And they're
hopefully
about to get it ripped away from them getting to play.
yeah, hopefully they'll be able to get things together here in the next few weeks here in Milan and get this arena done because you're right. It's one of the marquee events of the
Sports,
Winter
yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah.
So we're like I said before, we're going to be probably taking the next week or so off.
Yep.
Just for the Christmas holidays, and the NHL takes time off around Christmas time too. We'll let you know when we're going to get back. We may do something the week before,
Maybe like the weekend or something.
the weekend after Christmas or New Year's, but we'll let you know. In the meantime, you can join us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks to Jamie for joining us tonight on Facebook.
Hi, Jamie.
If you have any questions you want us to talk about other teams other than Pittsburgh and Edmonton, maybe I know we have some Colorado Avalanche fans. I know we have some New York Rangers fans. We have a Washington Capital fan in the family. So
I can't compare. They're in the playoff spot. So
yeah. So if you want to talk, and we'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more subscriptions we get is always great. You can go back and watch all the podcasts there as well. And this podcast will be, of course, replayed here a little bit later on Facebook, and you can catch it on our YouTube channel. So again, great show, Carson. Thank you very much. And as you love me to say, and I know you want to say it, you've been asking me to say it yourself, but I'm going to take it this time, saying,
you've been seeing it
in the
dreams.
meantime and in between time, everybody have a great hockey night.